Hey guys, it's the Plum Dot here and welcome back to my channel for part 2 of the barn, the A to Z Baby Challenge home that I built for Wisteria. So in part 1 we did the exterior and the landscaping as well as decorating the barn into a rumpus room, and for part 2 we are here doing the entire interior, and that is why this is such a long video. So grab your popcorn like OK Zoomer and settle in because there is a lot to decorate in this home. As I said in part 1, it is a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom home, and as always we are starting off in my very favorite room, the kitchen. Now this isn't typically how I would lay out a kitchen. I don't think I've ever done a kitchen that is this like cabinet of U-shaped, and then opposite you've got the fridge and some more cabinets, but it was really a unique thing for me because I usually either do galley kitchens or a kitchen that takes up the entire space, but as you can see at the top right at the moment we've got a blank space. So while I was doing this I was trying to figure out what to put there, and I eventually do figure it out, but I've got to say before I actually filmed the kitchen I probably laid it out about 20 different ways because I just couldn't, as usual, make up my mind. But here I go, filling that little space with a china cabinet, and then I thought I had a really good idea to put in a little desk and a computer, so when Gia, the matriarch of this family home, goes to look at online profiles, she can do it here in the kitchen while keeping an eye on her entire brood, because this whole bottom floor, with the exception of the nursery and Gia's room, is all open concept. So we're almost finished in the kitchen. We are just putting on some finishing touches, and as I said in part 1, I actually didn't do any of the recoloring on camera, so you'll have to wait till the very end for the screenshots to see how everything turned out. And of course there will be a download link in the description. Now with this home I did use some custom content that I had discussed with Wisteria, and there is of course store content and EA content, so you've got a little bit of a mix of everything, but I believe the only custom content that I used in the home is that back door you'll see is replaced in the screenshots, and then the pet items and some of the baby items that you'll find in the nursery are custom content, but everything else is going to be either store content or from some of the packs. So I had a lot of trouble with this sort of open concept because it was so open, and I initially had no idea where to put the dining room, but I thought I would put it in this back corner, and because like I said the entire downstairs is open, it didn't feel disjointed to me, because sometimes if you've got the living room and the dining room closed off from the kitchen, it looks a little bit like kerfluffled to me, so I kept it all open, and this dining room is in the back corner, which that little opening there to the left leads to Gia's bedroom and also the nursery. So I'm putting in the pet bowls and a little rug for them to eat and drink on, because in this Let's Play Gia has a cat and a dog, so I thought that was fitting to put their food bowls in the dining room. So we've moved on to the living area. I can't really call these rooms because like I said it is all completely open, and one of the things that I've noticed while watching Wisteria's A to Z Baby Challenge, and something that Spellburst pointed out to me in her A to Z Baby Challenge, is that I never put a stereo by the TV so that the moms that are having these babies and wanting to have multiple babies can listen to kid music while watching kid music. So you'll see, and I'll point it out to you, I've completely missed a trick right there. I should have put a stereo, but instead I thought plants would go nicely, so I completely missed this. And Ashley, if you're watching this, I am so sorry that I didn't put in a stereo. You would think I would have learned after doing Spellburst Home, but I didn't. So if you want to delete those plants, you could put in a radio, that could be a perfect spot for a radio so that Gia could listen to the Kids Bop station as well as watch it on television and hopefully have those multiples. So I've put in a little reading corner which is accessible, and I also put in a little place for the pets to sleep. Now I do go in and I do take out those pet beds and change them for some custom content pet beds because I just think they're so cute. And here I go trying to use those Aurora Sky coffee tables, but as we all know, you can barely put anything on them. Like, you can put a light and you can put the tissue boxes, but I'm trying to put other decor on it and it's just not working. So I went with this coffee table, which I think came with the Country Living Life set. And throwing down some rugs because you've just got to have rugs. When you've got hardwood floor, I think it's really important that you have rugs. Unless, it would be really cool if Sims could get a moodlet from underfloor heating because underfloor heating is very, very nice. But it's not that sophisticated as of yet, but you know, we can hope maybe for the future. And one of the things that I am very proud of myself that I did is I put curtains down before like the very end. Usually that is something that I noticed that I haven't done after I've completely finished building the home, but I remembered as I was doing it, and I'm really happy about that. Like, I'm giving myself a pat on the back right now. So basically, this is the kitchen, dining, and living room complete. And then I think I'm going to zoom around. Oh, we're not complete yet. We're still in the living room. And just putting in another side table just for decor purposes. I think it's a leash and some pet things and some books, and that's about it, but it's just for clutter purposes only. So yes, now we're spinning around and we're going to work a little bit on the entryway. Now off of the entryway there is a full bathroom, and originally when you see me decorating this, I've got it as a half bath, but then I realized after I'd finished the bathroom that I had completely forgotten to put in a litter box for the cat. And so I thought, what better place to put in a litter box than this front bathroom? So I had to extend it a little bit and take away a little bit from the entryway here. So you'll be able to see that in the screenshots, of course, because I don't think I caught it before I finished filming. I think it was a complete afterthought, and I was like, dope! I forgot somewhere for the cat to go to the bathroom. So here I am in the entryway, just cluttering it up, because really honestly, what can you put in an entryway except for an alarm system, one of those entryway tables, maybe a mirror, and some plants. And those plants do go, or they do move, and like I said, you'll be able to see that in the screenshots, because I had to extend that wall that way. So I end up putting in the half bathroom. I end up making it a full bathroom, putting in a shower as well as a litter box for the little kitty cat. So yeah, there's not much else going on in this entryway, even though I am searching and searching for clutter to put in the entryway. I think I eventually get rid of those shoes. Don't quote me on that though, because it has been quite some time since I built this house. If you guys haven't watched part 1 as of yet, I will of course put something up in the corner for you guys to check that out. But I was talking about how I got my wires crossed with this home, and Wisteria was actually waiting for months for me to complete her home, and she was so incredibly patient and sweet about the whole thing and the miscommunication that we had. So I can't thank her enough, especially when you're as slow a builder as I am. It is so nice when people have the patience to wait for what you're going to give them. So you just saw me complete the little half bath, and now we are going to be moving on to Miss Gia's bedroom, which sadly is the smallest bedroom in the house, and she also has the smallest bathroom. But like I said in part 1, there's not much else that she does in her bedroom except for, you know, woohoo. So she doesn't really need a lot of things except for a bed to get her business done. But it's not like the kids, where the kids need things to do, so they need to have much bigger space. Gia basically just has a bed and a desk and a radio and an armoire, which I love that particular dresser, and I believe it came from the Supernatural pack, but I am so in love with it. I think it is so cute because it looks kind of vintage. So then I put in the little mannequins, because I do like to put in the mannequins. I don't know if it's to remind the mothers of these 26 kids that you're going to be pregnant for days and days and days, so it'll be a while before you can fit into this dress, or if it's just because I like it. I'm not sure. So we're just cluttering up Gia's bedroom just a little bit, just to make it more lived in and a little bit more fun, so it's not plain. Like, I know they said there's not a lot of things in it, but you can clutter it up and make it a lot of fun. So we're just putting in a writing desk, and I believe I go in and put a notepad on there just in case she wants to like sketch a list of the men that she wants to have kids with, you know, her hit list of sorts. And that is basically her room. Now you will see in the screenshots that on the wall by the desk, I go in and put in some custom paintings, but they actually aren't custom content. I did that trick where I had my photographer Sim go and take pictures of custom content and use the World Adventure photography skill in order to do that. So the pictures that you're going to be seeing in the screenshots that don't look like something from game are actually from game, because I use the photography skill, which I think is so cool and such an underrated skill. So just finishing off Gia's room, and then we're going to go into her teeny tiny bathroom. I think it's like a 3x4, maybe a 3x4 bathroom. And I'm gonna struggle like mad. I couldn't believe like how badly I struggled with her bathroom. Like, here I am trying to rearrange things, and I go back to what I originally had. Like, I don't know why, I just don't trust my gut and do the first thing that comes to me. But yeah, I'm gonna struggle for a little bit. And there I am back to what I really wanted. So there's not a double sink in Gia's bathroom. There's just some clutter, and I'm going to go through and get rid of the bottom of the cabinet and then just put in a shelving unit so she can have some things underneath so it looks like an open cabinet. And I learned something really cool while I was decorating, and it actually didn't come to me until I was in the upstairs kids bathroom. It was one of the last things that I discovered, but my mind was blown. So with curtains, I must have some sort of mod in my game where I can lower and raise curtains, and I couldn't believe it because I was able to make the curtains and the blinds that I was using actually fit the window. That is one of my biggest bugaboos, is when the blinds and the curtains do not fit onto the windows, and it makes it very limited about what you can use, and it is so incredibly annoying. But yeah, I've got to have some sort of mod in my game that is taking care of that for me, or else I've never noticed it before. Have you guys ever noticed anything like that with you being able to shift curtains? Because let me tell you, it is so helpful. So in the screenshots, you will see that that curtain is actually not halfway up the wall. It is down on the window where it belongs. So we are almost finished with Miss Gia's bathroom, and we are now into the nursery, which is massive. But it's got to be massive. Like, if you're gonna start having 26 kids, you've got to have the room to start them off in, which is the nursery, and it's got to be big enough. So I put in 4 cribs, and I love that crib. It's the cocoon crib, I think it's called, and it's from some store set. Oh my gosh, my words today. It's from some store set, and I think it might be the nursery one. So I just went in and I was pulling out everything that I could possibly think of that you would need in a nursery. So obviously that play pin is custom content, and it is so cute. It's from Around the Sims, as well as that little play table is from Around the Sims as well. So I put in a little bookcase as well as a little play table, and then you've got the little nursery chair. And then behind this wall, I decided to put in the toilet training area. Although, again, Ashley, if you're watching this, I noticed that the garbage can that I placed next to the changing table isn't workable. So you could probably move that next to the, what is it called? Potty next to the window. Gosh, my words are like escaping me today. It's rewind. So just going through and cluttering up the shelves, and I got a lot of the clutter from Buy Debug. There's actually some really good clutter in the Buy Debug mode that you can't really find anywhere else, and I thought as well that I would give teddy bears to each of the cribs. So I think the nursery is one of my favorite rooms in this house because I gave it like an owl theme, and it is so incredibly cute. And it's a blue and yellow nursery, so kind of neutral colors for the babies to have. And it just turns out really cute. Like all of the little birds and the owls and everything, it just really tied together very well. So there's plenty of space for the kids to move around and learn and be potty trained and be read to if possible, or play on the table. And then outside of this room, I don't believe I did that on camera, but outside of this little hallway room, I put in 2 walkers so that they could learn to walk, and then also just a chair and a table and a mirror. So the entryways and things aren't that interesting, and you guys have already seen one of them, so you know how much more interesting can entryways and hallways be. But we're just putting on the final touches of the nursery, and that is going to be the bottom level completely done. Now, it's only been like 15 minutes, so I'm surprised that we're still going on for another, it's about 11 minutes until we get to the screenshots. But I guess there's 2 bedrooms up here, and there's like 3 little nooks that I decorated for specific purposes, but we'll talk about them when we get here. So I decided to make a boys room and a girls room, and I did learn from my mistake with Spellburst's home. So this is going to be the boys room, and I think it's really, really cute. Like these kids' bedrooms, they're just top notch. Now I do rearrange the furniture a little bit. I probably could have kept things separate like they are, but because I used I think they're called the lucky door, and they take up 2 tiles, it made it really limited for where I could put things to play with. So I actually end up changing out all of the beds for the kids, and I end up putting in, that bed. I actually really like that bed, and I think it fits very, very well underneath that particular bunk bed. And I think that bunk bed has the highest possible sleeping level that I could get, but it's really difficult with bunk beds and single beds. For some reason, I do not understand why a lot of them have low energy levels. Like, bump those energy levels up. The kids need to get their energy so they can do well in school. So I just had a little sort of hangout area for the boys. So they've got like a PlayStation, and also they have got a rocking horse, which is so cute when the kids use the rocking horse. It's like the cutest thing in the world. And then I also wanted to put in a dollhouse because I didn't want to go and do like gender stereotypes and definitely say that, you know, girls couldn't be allowed in this room. And who's to say that boys don't play with dolls? Like, The Sims is basically a dollhouse. And if you guys can hear that siren, I am so sorry. Like, we live down the road from an ambulance station, and it's back and forth all day. So if you can hear that, I am completely sorry about that. So that was the boys' room, all completely done. And now we are into the girls' room, which I think there's a little bit more space in the girls' room, so I don't end up putting in bunk beds whatsoever. So they've got these 4 beds, and I couldn't figure out how to place the beds because with the doors, again, it makes it kind of awkward, but there is so much space for the girls to sort of play with. And when I say girls, boys can obviously use this room as well. And especially, you never know like what gender the kids are going to be in a challenge. I mean, unless you eat your watermelons or your apples, then of course you might have some inkling of what kind of kids you're going to have. But for the most part, you don't know. So I try to keep it gender neutral in the rooms. So in both of the rooms, I think I do have doll houses and seating areas and a bookshelf, but I tried to keep them a little bit different. So there were different things for the kids to do in each of the rooms, so they weren't exactly the same. So I'm just going through and trying to find some not wall coverings, some pictures and things like that, because I can never find the university pictures, like those billboards. I can never find them for some reason, and I think they're in sculptures, but it's like the most difficult thing for me to find them. So I pulled all of them out and just placed them in various places around the house, and then I will obviously figure it out once I get to a particular room that's going to use it. But this little corner gave me a bit of trouble. I couldn't figure out like how to arrange it, and I was gonna put in another sofa, and I think I go away from this area at some point and move on to something else. Like, it doesn't look bad at the moment, but then I wanted to put in a toy chest, and I wanted to put in a little cooker, but I couldn't find the place or the space to put in a little cooker, so I actually put it in the little sort of study hangout area that is just behind the girls' room. So I've changed up. I was going to say, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I just changed up one of the university posters, and I'm still having trouble with this area. I'm going to go through every possible like thing that I can to try and clutter up the wall, because for some reason I just don't like blank walls. They just sort of like do my head in. So I was like, I've got to put so much on this particular wall. And yes, so I'm rearranging this space yet again, and like, shocker, I couldn't figure out what I was doing, but it really looks the same to me, so I don't know what my problem was. But I end up putting the toy chest there, and then I put the dollhouse just at the end of the bed and throw the little bakery set out into the little, I want to call it a hangout area, but it's also a study area for the kids. And there I go with the curtains. I'm so proud of myself that I remembered, but I did forget in the boys' room. And then we are going to clutter up the boys' room a little bit more, jump back to the girls' room, and we're going to do this little space. This is a space that I would call the hangout area, because you've got the little train set, which I don't really know what it does. Like, I'm not sure like if it's just an object or an object that they can play with, but I also put the little stove out there so that I know they can interact with that. And then I put a little foosball, so it is quite like another hangout area in the house for the kids. But you can see I've got these 3 little sections, and 2 of them are teeny tiny, and they're the dormers of the house, so it was really hard to figure out like how to decorate them. So here's what I would call the little study area, and it's not very big, but I put in 2 desks and 2 computers for the kids to use. And that's a little study area. Everything else is kind of about fun. And I think it's a great space for kids to be. I don't know. I just like this upstairs. Even though it's kind of awkwardly laid out with the dormers, I was able to figure out the best way in order to decorate it. And I totally dig it. I just think this house is so cool. So what dormer are we moving to next? We're moving to the cat dormer. So I wanted to make an area for the cat, so I put it in there, and then I thought, well, maybe the logic skill would be good, so I made this the logic dormer and put in 2 bookshelves because I realized I didn't have any bookshelves upstairs. And then I was just trying to figure out how to make like not a window seat, but like a window ledge or something to put in the middle of the bookcases, because without something there it looked really blank to me. Of course, I've got to fill every space with something. Like, it's a surprise I'm not a hoarder in real life. I mean, I'm a what's the thing? I am a hoarder. Oh my god, I just realized that I am a hoarder. Like, not the kind where you have to like climb over mountains and mountains of crap to get somewhere, but I hold on to things for years and years to come. Does that make me a hoarder? Like, I have a birthday invitation from my niece from her 6th birthday party. I know I have this back at my parents' house, and she's now 22, and I still have her 6th birthday party invitation. And I have a Valentine's Day card from when I was in daycare, so when I was about 5 years old. And I have a picture that a friend drew of me when we were about 13. I just can't, I can't throw away things. Like, I love to keep things for sentimental values, but then I also just keep things because I don't like to throw things away. Does that make me a hoarder? Tell me down below in the comments if that makes me a hoarder. So there's not much left to do. We've just got the 2 bathrooms. So this is the bathroom that shares with the boys' room as well as with the hallway. And then at the other end of the house, we have got the girls' bathroom, and there's no entrance from the hallway, so the girls just have their own sort of bathroom. But here is where you're going to see that I have figured out that I can raise and lower blinds and curtains, and I am so excited. But I'm going to love you and leave you guys with some music for the rest of the video. Make sure to stick around for the screenshots because there are a ton of them, but I had to get a shot from every angle so you guys could see it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and definitely go and check out Wisteria's A-Z Baby challenge. I will be leaving all of our links down below in the description. And if you guys aren't already subscribed and you like what you see, why don't you go ahead and hit that button. Don't be a plum stranger now, guys. Bye!